Coming up, a major advocacy win. Mexico is open to pilots flying under BasicMed. We have the details.
The NTSB releases a preliminary report on the B-17 crash. See what investigators are saying.
Plus, flying with the Thunderbirds. AOPA Live this week begins in just a moment.
This is AOPA Live This Week with Tom Haynes and Melissa Redinger.
Another major victory for pilots. Pilots flying under BasicMed will now be able to fly in Mexico starting December 10th.
With the change, Mexico joins the Bahamas as a BasicMed-friendly destination. It's good news on both sides of the border.
It's very significant given the fact that 30% of international travel by U.S. pilots are going to Mexico. So having the Mexican government and its Civil Aviation Authority, the DGAC, recognize BasicMed is just a great opportunity for not only U.S. pilots, but for the Mexicans' economy.
Mexico and the Bahamas are just the beginning. AOPA is working to expand the list of countries that accept BasicMed. Today, more than 51,000 U.S. pilots are safely flying using it. To fly under BasicMed, pilots who have previously passed a third-class medical exam need to take an online medical education course and then get a physical exam. To find out more, visit the Fit to Fly section of our website.
More details are out about the B-17 crash in Connecticut earlier this month. B-17-909, flown by the Collings Foundation, crashed during landing at Bradley International Airport back on October 2nd. 7 people, including 5 passengers and both pilots, died in the crash. The NTSB just released the preliminary report. The pilot reported problems with one of the engines to air traffic control, but the report says there may have been trouble with 2 engines. Propeller blades on the number 3 and 4 engines were feathered or partially feathered. The preliminary report doesn't speculate on the cause of the crash. The probable cause will come in the final NTSB report, and that may not be released for over a year. And after the crash, it didn't take long for many to jump in and say that these vintage aircraft shouldn't be flown anymore. The Collings Foundation suspended its Wings of Freedom tour for the rest of the year soon after the crash, but the organization is holding fast to its mission to keep history alive by offering flights on these historic aircraft. The flights are made possible by the FAA Living History Flight Experience Exemption, or LHFE. Now, many warbird operators take advantage of this exemption, and we talked to Larry Kelly, owner of B-25 Panchito, about why it's important to keep these aircraft flying.
These are our icons of our military history, and those of us that are on these airplanes are the ones that need to keep them flying. To remember, the huge sacrifices of tens of thousands of American airmen.
And Larry wants to emphasize how safe it is to fly these airplanes under the LHFE.
These airplanes are maintained to an equivalent level of safety. The pilots are all trained to an equivalent level of safety to a Part 135 operation. And they say, well, these are old airplanes. Well, yeah, they are, but that doesn't mean they're not, any longer airworthy. They are certainly plenty airworthy. And accidents happen. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I said I was far more worried about driving around Washington Beltway trying to get home because my life was a whole lot more at risk on Washington Beltway than it was getting in my B-25 and going flying.
The Collings Foundation is asking supporters to comment on the FAA's renewal of its Living History Flight Experience Exemption. If you'd like to comment, visit the Collings Foundation's website to find the link. Hundreds of supportive comments have already poured in. So again, as we said a couple of weeks ago when this first happened, we need to find out what happened. It needs to be safe, but we also don't need a knee-jerk reaction that grounds these incredible airplanes that really are a link to our past.
Right, and as he points out, there's a equivalent level of safety, we call it in the business, but it's absolutely, there's appropriate oversight.
Right, definitely.
So. This week in Colorado, the annual Redbird Migration, held this year at the new Blue Sky Aviation Gallery of the Wings Over the Rockies Museum. Migration is the leading conference for flight training professionals, and one of the highlights of the conference is the announcement of the winners of AOPA's Flight Training Experience Awards.
The purpose of this is to recognize and celebrate flight schools and flight instructors that provide a customer experience to pilots of all levels and facilitate their entry into the aviation community.
The top flight schools and instructors in each of the 6 regions are determined by surveying students. The national winners are selected from among the regions and the top flight school in the nation.
The envelope, please. Thank you, Pablo. The results have been sealed by the firm of Pretty, Dern, and Close. And the award goes to AeroVenture Flight Center from Mansfield, Massachusetts. Congratulations, AeroVenture. In the results, customers said they were friendly and family-oriented. They were quality people. I know one even named Deb outright, so Deb is one of the most amazing people I've ever met. Up-to-date equipment and technology, balanced learning, both theoretical and practical, so both sides of it, and that they were transparent and budget conscious and provide a great value. So let's hear it for AeroVenture, our 2019 National Best Flight School.
The best flight instructor in the nation couldn't attend migration, so he was told earlier in a Skype call.
I also wanted to let you know that not only are you our regional best CFI in the South, but you're also the national best CFI this year.
Wow, that's triply flattering then. Yeah, I think it's certainly due to my customer base. I have every flight school likes to think their customers are the best, and I absolutely do too. And then, you know, the support staff that makes me look good really is, I think, the reason why the guys rate us the way they do. We have an incredible program here that really loans itself to being successful. So I'm flattered. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations to all our winners, and you can read more about the Flight Training Excellence Awards on our website.
Absolutely, congratulations. Of course, the end goal for most people in flight training is to get a job as a pilot. So what's the outlook? Boeing frequently shows up at major general aviation events with a forecast. With its fingers in aircraft manufacturing, aircraft servicing, navigation, flight planning software, flight training, Boeing keeps a very close eye on the aviation economy.
There's some rumblings about the economy and downturns in the economy. We have not seen it yet.
And Boeing remains bullish on the need for future pilots, aircraft technicians, and cabin crews.
But over the next 20 years, we're forecasting that there's going to be a need for another 40,000 aircraft, right? So as an OEM, as we deliver those aircraft, we're going to need pilots to fly those aircraft.
While most of the programs at the Redbird Migration are about serious business, they do try to lighten it up a little bit now and then. Like the Rumble in the Rockies, a dogfight between our own Dave Hirschman and AvWeb's Paul Bertorelli. Curmudgeons both, and never short of opinions.
Let's go inside the aircraft for a minute, you guys. What kind of technology should be there?
Well, Dave had the bizarre idea that if the cockpit has technology in it, any kind of glass cockpit, any kind of autopilot, envelope protection, whatever it is, you shouldn't expose the pilot to that until he solos. Well, that's a little bit ridiculous because as instructors, we all know about the law of primacy, and my view is that you incorporate that stuff right from the beginning. And this technology is here to stay. We should really stop hiding from it.
Couldn't disagree more. It's it's like your first 10 hours of training, the pre-solo time. It should be ideally if I were king, it's like that would be in a champ or a cub off a grass strip till you solo. All the airport environment stuff, talking on the radio, airport markings, glass cockpits, that's all that can all come later. There's a time and a place for it. It's not at the very beginning. And Paul's misguided point about we got to be exposed from the technology first because we're going to fly high technology airplanes. How about an Asiana 777 that is destroyed on landing on a VMC day in calm winds because the pilot doesn't have that sort of stick and rudder training and can't recognize when the auto throttle is not engaged.
We'll post the full Rumble in the Rockies on our YouTube channel. Dave and Paul are entertaining, to say the least.
These days, it's unusual to see a brand new airport open, but that's exactly what you'll find in Williston, North Dakota. Williston Basin International, or KXWA, just opened for business. The airport has commercial service, but is also GA friendly. It was built to replace nearby Slulin Field. Slulin was notorious for high prices and fees for general aviation flyers. It was on AOPA's Airport Access Watch list. With the new airport comes a new GA-friendly FBO operated by Overland Aviation. AOPA encouraged the process for selecting a GA-friendly FBO at the new airport.
That's great progress.
It is. One airport at a time.
Yeah.
And if it takes a new airport, it's a new airport.
That's a pretty dramatic step to build a whole new airport and get a whole new FBO, but it's nice to see a new airport opening up too.
It is. It's got great community support.
Yeah, great.
It's a big celebration way out in the middle of nowhere. The High Sierra Flyin is going on this weekend. It takes place on Dead Cow Lake Bed north of Reno, Nevada. Bush planes and their admirers come in from all over the world to be a part of it. One of the main draws is the Stoll Drag World Championships. Stoll Drag puts 2 airplanes side by side. They take off at a line, fly 3/4 of a mile down the course, and land beyond another line. They have to come to a complete stop on a heading with all wheels on the ground. Then they power up, turn around, take back off, and fly the course. The first pilot to land beyond the original line, stop on the heading, with all the wheels down, wins the heat. AOPA is a sponsor of the event this year. AOPA Live's Paul Harrop now joins us from the High Sierra Flyin. So Paul, is the party already started?
Hey, folks are starting to show up here on Wednesday evening as we're taping this. A couple dozen airplanes on the playa now, but expecting around 600 to show up later in the weekend. 2,000 people have registered to be here. AOPA is here. We've got a presence. We're supporting it and helping promote this backcountry aviation event. If you're still flying in, make sure you've read the STOLTAM, as they call it. There are some specific procedures you need to do to stay safe with all these people gathered in this very, very remote backcountry setting, but it is a great place and there's lots of great friends, people of like minds coming together from across the West and even across the world. Just spoke with somebody here from Australia. You may be able to hear over there's a Super Cub taking off to practice the Stoll drags and to fly in this beautiful evening light. We'll bring you more next week from here at the High Sierra Flyin.
Look for more on the event in the coming weeks here on AOPA Live this week. Also follow along on social media. Our brand experience team is out there to bring you all the action on all our social media channels.
But staying in Nevada and to the other end of the aviation spectrum, the annual convention of the National Business Aviation Association's Business Aviation Conference and Exhibition is next week in Las Vegas. Join us there for the latest happenings from the hot and high end of flying. We'll bring you our program from the show. There promises to be some exciting announcements that will flow down into the piston single market.
When we come back, a big acquisition in the avionics world.
And flying with the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds. Stay with us.
There are many important things to consider before purchasing an aircraft. Let the experts at Aerospace Reports help guide you through the process. We combine expert knowledge with our long-standing commitment to personalized customer service to perfect your transaction. Learn more at aerospacereports.com.
Welcome back. There's 2 cliches that come to mind for this next story. We need all the help we can get, and we'll get by with a little help from our friends. Both are applicable to staying safe in the national airspace system, and that's especially true when it comes to traffic advisories. But pilots don't always respond to traffic advisories. Doesn't mean we aren't listening and we aren't grateful to the controllers. Increasing awareness, though, of the system is the goal of a new social media campaign called Let Us Know. The videos were produced by AOPA Live, working with the FAA and NATCA, the Controllers Union. The 6 clips are each targeted at different elements that can raise awareness of the need for pilots to work with controllers so the national airspace system remains safe. Find the clips on our AOPA Live YouTube channel.
And speaking of traffic avoidance, pilots now have more traffic information in the cockpit than ever, thanks to the flood of capable and affordable avionics coming to the GA fleet. And now there's even more ways to display that information thanks to an acquisition made by Avionics. Avionics just acquired startup avionics manufacturer Avionics. Avionics is known for the popular tail beacon and sky beacon ADSB products, while Avionics makes a line of low-cost, easily installed, multifunction, and primary flight displays.
Avionics manufacturer Avidyne is entering the business aviation market with the introduction of the Atlas Flight Management System. Based on technology found in thousands of Avidyne navigators for piston aircraft, the Atlas promises turbine operators a wide array of features at a reduced cost. The Atlas can integrate with many Collins and Honeywell EFA systems. Target market is 10 to 15-year-old jets. The intro price, $45,000.
Like it or not, cold weather is settling in across many parts of North America. Some areas saw record snowfalls in recent days. The calendar says it's October, the season tells us it's autumn, but Mother Nature doesn't seem to really care. The AOPA Air Safety Institute has resources for you for this time of year. Weather-wise, precipitation and icing might be a good safety advisor to spend time with this week. Learn how to recognize and avoid dangerous precipitation and icing. It will also give you tips on exit strategies for unexpected and inadvertent icing encounters. Find it on the Air Safety Institute website.
Talk about a flying car. Porsche is back in the aviation space, kinda. The German sports car maker announcing they are teaming with Boeing to explore the premium range of eVTOLs. No word on any details or designs. You may remember Porsche once worked with Mooney to develop a Porsche-engined and styled aircraft. The project was widely regarded as a bust.
It was once lost, but now it's found. Officials are still scratching their heads and looking for answers, however. A bust of Orville Wright was found in the dunes of Kill Devil Beach. It had gone missing from the Wright Brothers National Memorial just last week. Someone jacked the copper statue right off the pedestal, and they didn't make it far, so investigators are working to find out who did it.
Good grief, nothing sacred apparently. And finally, the flight of a lifetime. Very few ever get to do this, and all of us around here, hey, more than a little jealous. Dave Hirschman, who gets to fly dang near everything, can now die a very happy man.
Alrighty, here we go.
This is nice.
Altitude. Tell your friends. Oh, here comes the That doesn't seem right.
I've only got 2 goals for this flight. Stay conscious and don't hurl. Flying with the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds is the thrill of a lifetime for a GA pilot like me, and I don't want to sleep through any of it. There are hours of preparation getting ready for this backseat ride in an F-16, and I get some good advice on how to resist up to 9 Gs and keep this morning's Egg McMuffin where it belongs.
So in the end, if you're gonna barf, just do it. Call it good. You wouldn't be the first, you won't be the last. You'll have on your G suit, there's an elastic strap. Pro tip here. So take those one of those bags out if you're at all worried, like when you're taxiing or just hanging out waiting, doing nothing in the jet. And they're like those produce bags at the grocery store that you can never figure out which end is the open one. So figure that out.
Thunderbird Flight Surgeon Noel Calls says staying hydrated is key, and he coaches me through breathing and straining techniques that get a little noisy.
Jeez. All right, I'm clenching everything. Big barrel chest.
All right, so what we're going to do now is go ahead and get you looking similar like a pilot. So I have a flight suit right here. Okay.
Staff Sergeant Kyle Bodie fits me with a flight suit, helmet, oxygen mask, and this strange garment, a G-suit that squeezes like a python.
Last 4 of your social.
I'm more than willing to sign my life away. Then I meet Thunderbird number 8, call sign Flack.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah.
Read badge on the website.
This flight is to hopefully give you an idea of not just the Thunderbird mission, but kind of demonstrate a little bit of the pride, professionalism, and precision that the entire Air Force puts into their daily lives.
My whole interest is this is the only time I'm ever going to be in an F-16, and it's like I want to see as much of the F-16 envelope as I possibly can.
Great.
And if I can stay conscious the whole time, that'll be a bonus.
It's always great when we get to fly folks that have a flying background, right? So you can kind of appreciate it a little bit more. Also, it makes it a little bit more, I guess, easier because I'm like not as scared of you passing out or puking.
Well, that's a vote of confidence. Finally, we walk out to the airplane and lace up the G-suit.
I don't know what I ever did to get so lucky, but I am thrilled to be here.
After our nearly vertical climb to 12,000 feet, we fly south to a restricted area.
So, let's go ahead and execute the knife edge pass. Here we go. Smoke on ready now, and knife edge.
Flack demonstrates some aerobatic maneuvers.
All 8-point roll coming up. Ready for that?
Ready.
All right, smoke on, ready now, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We did it. Got through all 8, and I didn't lose count.
Including a max G turn.
I'm going to light the afterburner, roll into bank, and we're going to start smoothly applying backstick pressure. We're going to get to about 7.5 Gs. Things are going good. I'm going to keep pulling until we get to 9. So, you ready for that?
Ready.
Bump up here. Here comes a G.
It feels like an elephant is sitting on my chest, an anaconda is squeezing my legs, and I'm looking through a soda straw. But the pain tells me I'm still awake.
That was a good speed.
David, 9.1 Gs. How you feeling?
Excellent.
Dude, that was awesome.
This flight is a dream come true.
Bingo. Bingo.
Low on fuel, we fly back to Oceana. Dave Hirschman, AOPA log. Barf bags empty.
You can read more about Dave's most excellent flight on our website, and you can see more video of his flight on the AOPA Live YouTube channel. Wow.
So I've got an hour and a half in an F-16.
Are you kidding?
In the 90s, and it looks like the same avionics.
Right.
But yeah, I went along on a surface attack mission. All the stuff Dave experienced, I can't wait to talk to him. I've watched it, and I can't wait to compare notes. I was unconscious when we hit 9 Gs. I was conscious through about 7. It sounds like Dave's got a little more G tolerance.
Yeah, well, he'd been practicing for about 2 weeks before he went on that flight. He was flying his aerobatic RV every day to try to build up a little G tolerance, but you're not going to do 9 Gs in an RV, that's for sure.
No.
You mentioned the avionics. The funny thing is, and the thing that got more comments, I think, on the online story about this is that you can see stuck to the window is a Stratus ADS-B in receiver, and the pilot's using ForeFlight. So, you know, you're right, the avionics in this very modern fighter are not that advanced.
Whatever works.
Okay, that's it for our show this week. Thanks for joining us. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're with us on YouTube.
And sound off. The address is on your screen, and it'll get the note right to us. See you next week.
The people of AOPA's Legal Services Plan work to help protect your certificates, and they love to fly as much as you do. The AOPA Legal Services Plan is offered as part of our Pilot Protection Services. It's a members-only benefit provided to thousands of pilots like you.